Artisan Mousepads. Are they still worth your time and money? Artisan pads have been around in the aiming community for a long time. I've owned a Heian mid for 3 years, and every time I try to swap away, I end up going back to one of my Artisans. Compared to other readily available pads, Artisan pads have a steeper price, and in my experience, quality to match, albeit with some diminishing returns. I see pads recommended a lot that are quote-unquote artisan quality, but each time I end up disappointed. Don't get me wrong, there are other good pads out there, for a time. What I mean by that is, usually I will switch to a pad, I'll like it, but then the pad will begin to show bad qualities over regular usage, whether this is slow spots, inconsistencies, discoloration, tracking issues, the list goes on. Take the Zowie GSR SE Rouge for example. I liked this pad for a few weeks, but it developed slow spots and wear at a rate that I feel I would need to replace the pad at least once a month. That fact alone makes it a more expensive investment than the Artisan. Other pads I've tried don't wear as fast as the Rouge, but it's night and day when looking at the longevity of my Artisans. Artisan pads will last a long time through regular usage, and after copious hours on my Heian mid, I would still use it to this day. The character of the pad has slightly changed over time in what I consider break-in, but it still feels great. Now I'm not going to get too specific in this video on the feel. I will go deeper into each pad in future videos. Artisan has a huge line of mousepads that are tailored to different players' preferences. I would say that the only thing they don't have is a glass offering. Check out my video on the Pulsar Super Glide glass pad if you want to know my thoughts on glass pads. When it comes to the Artisan lineup, I think it would be hard to not find a pad that fits your preferences. Nearly every mousepad will slow down with regular usage. While I feel other pads wear to a point of inconsistency and unusability over time, Artisan pads seem to break in rather than wear out. On Amazon, these pads can go from $50 to $100 depending on the reseller you buy from. If you order from the Artisan website, it will be cheaper, but you'll have to wait for them to ship from Japan. You're going to pay a higher upfront cost for these pads, especially if you order from Amazon, but in my opinion they are greater value than the other pads I have tried. I always end up going back to my Artisan. When you consider that I mained a Heian mid for 2 years and I would still confidently use it, I think that really speaks to the quality of them. I main a Zero Soft now, as I feel it's just a more flexible multi-purpose pad, and that suits my current gaming habits. Will you play better? Yes and no. I do believe that other mousepads have really captured great qualities as far as feel and performance go. However, as I stated before in the comparison section, where other pads seem to fail is longevity and consistency. This is where the Artisan really shows its worth in my opinion. I think on an Artisan pad, you will have more confidence in enduring consistency. Personally, I feel this makes me play better, as anything that feels off in aiming can turn into a large problem. Aiming is both a physical and mental pursuit. Consistency is key, and anything that helps me maintain that means that I'm playing better, for longer, and with more consistency. Should you buy an Artisan pad? I think that if you genuinely value reaching a high level of aim and maintaining it, Artisan pads are absolutely worth it. People often overlook their pads and say that anything will work. Sure, humans are flexible and we can adjust and adapt to a lot of different mousepad surfaces, But this doesn't mean that there isn't a pad out there that you will enjoy the most and perform the best on. I want any advantage when it comes to aiming, and personally, Artisan pads have become a staple in my setup that I have found impossible to substitute. This might change when a company makes a mousepad as well as Artisan, but for me, I have not found it yet. I'll remain open-minded, but I'm gonna stick with the tried and true. That's all for this video, and I'll see you next time.